Dear students, I talk about the interior service system. Uh, Interior service system. Till now, I was talking about the refrigeration cycle and air conditioning, ducting, piping, etc. Now, I'll give some idea about that. Idea about the refrigeration cycle. Try to understand the refrigeration cycle as I tell you about the false ceiling, so that you get a clear concept of how it is. Now, let me first do the refrigeration cycle. That is vapor compression cycle. This is the cycle I am going to present in front of you. This is expansion valve, this is evaporator, this is compressor, this is condenser. This whole cycle is called vapor compression cycle. This is the cycle according to which in your house the refrigerator works and the air conditioning system works. You have in your house window air conditioner and split air conditioner. Both window and split air conditioner follow this cycle. Not only that, the refrigerator in your house also follows this cycle. This is the total refrigeration cycle, from which the chilled water is circulated to the air handling unit or air conditioning system. This I will explain in later. First, you understand this cycle first. This is evaporator, this is compressor, this is condenser, this is expansion valve. There is a fluid in gaseous state and in liquid state which is being circulated through the cycle, which is called refrigerant. This fluid is called refrigerant. This refrigerant is also in commercial terms defined as gas. For example, if in your house there is some leakage of the refrigerant gas from the refrigeration system or the air conditioning, the mechanic will come to your house and tell that gas leak ho gaya. They may not know even the name of what refrigerant it is, what is the refrigerant, whatever it is. The refrigerant we are using generally in houses are R11, R22 and such refrigerants. These are the refrigerants which are generally used is R11, R22, which were being used generally as refrigerant. Though nowadays this refrigerant has been replaced. These are halocarbon refrigerants. These are replaced with hydrocarbon refrigerants. Now, to understand halocarbon and hydrocarbon, you have to enter into a different chapter which you may not need. That's generally read by mechanical engineers. Now, I'll define about the evaporator. What is the first function of the evaporator? What is the function? Like, before putting an injection in your hand, you put spirit there. You have seen that spirit घिसते हैं डॉक्टर आपके वहाँ पे. Immediately you find cold in the hand. ठंड लगता है इस जगह पे. क्यों ठंड लगता है? Because the spirit evaporates. And when it evaporates, it takes heat from your body. Why the spirit evaporates? Spirit evaporates because its boiling point. Boiling point means at the point which the liquid boils to vapor. At that point, at this boiling point, of spirit is very less. So when it comes to the atmospheric condition, it immediately vaporizes. But when it is put into your skin, and from your skin it vaporizes, it takes heat along with that. When it takes heat along with that, cooling or chilling effect comes into application. That is what is the function of the evaporator. There is another example. When you get sweating in the daytime, in summer, this summer during monsoon you will get more sweating. When you get sweating in summer and you go before a fan, you feel a chill effect. Why the chill effect happens? Because the sweat gets evaporated. As the sweat gets evaporated from liquid to vapor, it takes away heat from your body. And because of the heat is taken away from your body, you find coolness in your body. Using this basic phenomenon, we are using the principles of heat transfer in evaporator. What is happening? The refrigerant gas which is flowing through the evaporator boils at very low temperature. The refrigerant gas which flowing through the evaporator boils at very low temperature. What is the low temperature you know? To the range of minus 30 degrees centigrade. There are some refrigerants boiling at minus 30 degrees centigrade. What is your ambient temperature at this condition in Delhi? It is in summer, noon time, it is 45 degrees centigrade. So a liquid which boils at minus 30 degrees centigrade will superboil at 45 degrees centigrade. This is plus 45 degrees centigrade. If you have some idea of science background of yours, even up to class 12 or class 10, you can understand what I am telling you. The liquid which boils at minus 30 degrees centigrade will naturally boil at minus 20, minus 10, 0 degrees centigrade, 10 degrees, plus 10 degrees centigrade, plus 20 degrees centigrade, plus 48 degrees centigrade. More the temperature increases, the boiling becomes more. So what happens? The liquid refrigerant which is flowing through the evaporator gets converted into vapor. When the liquid gets converted into vapor, it takes heat from outside. It takes heat from outside. And the refrigerant goes to the evaporator and gets converted into vapor. Why it gets converted into vapor? Because it boils at very low temperature. So at this temperature it automatically boils. When it boils, it takes heat, it gets evaporated from liquid to vapor phase, and when it gets evaporated liquid to vapor phase, it takes heat from surrounding. The same phenomenon which was happening during sweating of your body. During sweating of your body, the sweat gets evaporated, and when the sweat gets evaporated, you find a chilling effect in your body. The sweat gets evaporated when you come near fan, and the sweat gets evaporated by the fan. When the sweat gets evaporated with the fan, और पसीना जब evaporate हो जाता है, तब it takes heat from your body. When it takes heat from your body feels automatic coldness. Using this phenomenon, I am using the same thing in the evaporator. The same phenomenon I am using in the evaporator. It's taking heat from outside and the outside gets cold. So how the evaporator actually works in your house in refrigerator? If you put, what is the evaporator part in refrigerator? The deep freezer part. Deep freezer, which is at the top of the refrigerator. If you put your hand in the deep freezer, you will see there you can feel the tubes flowing through the surface. Within the internal surface, it's like this is what is the surface. This is what is the surface. Here are tubes. Here are tubes. This is deep freezer. Deep freezer. What happens? Refrigerant flows through this tube. As a result, it picks heat from outside and heat comes through this. Heat comes through this. As a result, this surface becomes cold. I think it is getting clear. As it picks heat from outside and gets evaporated, the outside surface becomes cold. So the deep freezer becomes cold. So deep freezer becomes cold because refrigerant gets evaporated. And as soon as the refrigerant gets evaporated, the chilling effect is felt in the deep freezer. Same thing in your air conditioner in the house. What happens in the air conditioner? There is a part called evaporator part. If you open the face of the window air conditioner, the filter of the air conditioner, you will immediately find coils within that, and on that there are small metal plates which are called fins. Through these coils, refrigerant is passing. And because of the blower being there, blower sucks air from outside. Which air it sucks? The hot air from outside. Blower sucks hot air from outside, and as it sucks hot air from outside, the hot air comes above the coil. As it passes through the coil, what happens? The refrigerant is within the coil, which is the gas, gets evaporated. The moment it gets evaporated, it sucks heat from the outside air. And the outside air becomes cold. Same phenomenon happening in the freeze. The refrigerant passes through these tubes, takes heat from outside, itself gets converted into vapor, and the outside becomes cold. Similarly, in case of air conditioner in your house, the refrigerant passes through the evaporator tube, takes heat from outside, and as a result of that, it gets heated and converted into vapor, and the outside surface becomes cold. This is the phenomenon happening in air conditioner and refrigerator in your house. And the main part which is doing the cooling effect is called evaporator. From the evaporator, the refrigerant goes to compressor. आपने कभी भी सुना होगा आपके घर पे जो रेफ्रिजरेटर या एसी होता है उस पे कंप्रेसर होता है. And compressor is the heart of the system. Like in our body, the blood is pumped throughout the whole body by the heart, which is situated in the left side of our body part, in the chest. Heart pumps blood throughout the whole body and the blood gets circulated throughout the body. Similarly, this compressor pumps the liquid throughout the whole system. Compressor pumps the liquid throughout the whole system. Try to understand that. How does it pump? It pumps by reciprocating compressor, a particular type of compressor. There is reciprocating compressor. This is piston cylinder arrangement. This is piston. There is refrigerant gas here. And as the piston moves, this piston moves inside and outside. As it moves, it compresses the refrigerant gas. So what happens? This pressure, this here, low pressure of the zone of the refrigerant gets converted to high pressure zone because being compressed. कोई भी चीज आप कंप्रेस करते हो तो उसका वॉल्यूम कम होता है, उसका प्रेशर बढ़ जाता है. Compression, good example is when you fill up your tires with air. You fill up your tires of the car with compressed air only. You have seen a big cylinder where you fill up the tire of the car with air. This big cylinder is compressor. It compresses the air, and the compressed air is fed within the tube of the tire. That is, a high pressure air is being fed into the tube of the tire. So being high pressure, the tire lifts the weight of the body of the car. Similar phenomenon in case of compressor, I put the refrigerant at low pressure here. Here at evaporator, it picks heat, gets converted into vapor, becomes a low pressure, comes to compressor. In the compressor, I am putting compression work. So I am compressing with the help of piston cylinder, and as a result of that, low pressure gets converted to high pressure. Compression work happens due to piston cylinder arrangement. The piston cylinder moves up and down, and some work is to be done on the compressor for that. This piston moving up and down is to be done by some work from outside. That means some work input is given into the system. That work is given by the electrical energy, and the compressor bill comes. What happens in your house when you run an air conditioner? There is always the papa tells ki beta AC kam chalana, because there will be high power bill. The power bill happens due to compressor in the air conditioner. The compressor compresses the fluid, and as a result of compressing the fluid, the pressure increases, and because of conversion from low pressure to high pressure, work is done, and this work is coming from outside. That is supplied by electrical power. That is why whether it is your air conditioner or your refrigerator, it cannot run without electric power. The electric power runs the compressor. Because the compressor runs, it circulates the compressed liquid, the compressed refrigerant through the whole system. This compressed refrigerant, which is in the vapor phase, it was low pressure vapor phase to high pressure vapor phase. This high pressure vapor phase comes to condenser. This part is called condenser. In the condenser, it cools the liquid here. In the condenser, it cools the vapor to liquid. Vapor is this high pressure vapor. This is liquid. This is liquid. This is becoming vapor, and from vapor it becomes liquid. Air is liquid, V is vapor. So this liquid gets converted. This here, it's coming as vapor. Low pressure vapor gets converted to high pressure vapor, and then high pressure vapor gets converted into liquid in the condenser. How it gets converted into liquid? It gets converted into liquid because we are putting some cold air above that. How the cold air is put? You can go at the back side of your air conditioner. Back side of your air conditioner, when you go, you get hot air. Have you observed? When you go at the back side of your air conditioner of your house, whether it is window air conditioner or the outdoor unit of the split air conditioner, you get hot air. This air becomes heated because of the heat generated in the condenser. How the heat is generated? This vapor, which is carrying high amount of heat content, gives heat to the air outside. Itself becomes converted from vapor to liquid because it has given heat. ये vapor से liquid convert हो जाता है, and the air which is passing through it gets hotter. That is why behind the air conditioner, if you stand, you will get a hot air. That is because the condenser is at the back side of the air conditioner. Try to understand the whole phenomenon. The evaporator is in the front side of the air conditioner, the condenser is at the back side of the air conditioner. When you stand in front of the condenser, you get the blow of hot air because the air converts the refrigerant gas from vapor to liquid phase. When it converts from vapor to liquid, it picks up heat from condenser, from the refrigerant gas. When the air picks up heat from refrigerant gas, it gets heated, and this hot air is circulated outside. That is why you feel the hotness of the air when you stand behind the air conditioner. Then this liquid phase comes into expansion valve. In the expansion valve, it gets expanded. Try to understand. Here it was low pressure. After evaporator, it picks up heat here, gets converted into vapor, and at low pressure it comes to compressor in vapor state. From low pressure to high pressure in vapor state, the compressor compresses the gas. It is in vapor state now. Now this vapor comes to condenser, gets converted into liquid at high pressure only. This is high pressure. This region above is high pressure. This region above is low pressure. This is high pressure, this is low pressure. That means below the expansion valve and compressor, this portion is low pressure. Above the compressor and the expansion valve, condenser and compressor part, exhaust, these are high pressure. This high pressure liquid comes into the expansion valve and it gets expanded. When something is compressed, like we are compressing in compressor, the pressure increases. When something is expanded, the opposite of compression, the pressure drops. So what I am doing, I am passing through the expansion valve and the pressure drops from here to here. From high pressure, it gets converted to low pressure and comes to evaporator. In evaporator, it picks up heat. Again, gets converted into vapor. At vapor, low pressure, it enters into compressor. Compressor compresses it from low pressure to high pressure, and the high pressure vapor comes to condenser. In condenser, vapor gets converted to liquid by the air from outside. By the air coming from outside. And this liquid gets expanded in the expansion valve, and as a result of that the pressure drops. And because I need low pressure in evaporator, I have dropped the pressure to the expansion valve, and the cycle continues. This is the whole cycle of the refrigeration air conditioning plant. Try to understand the grasp of the cycle. This air, the cooling of the refrigerant we are doing through air in case of air conditioner in the house. But in case of big air conditioning apparatus, which we are using in industries or central air conditioning apparatus like we are using in airport and other places, the cooling of condenser is done by water. And this water cooling is done by an equipment called cooling tower. What does the cooling tower do? It passes water to the condenser, cold water to the condenser. This cold water picks up heat from the refrigerant gas, and refrigerant gas gets converted into liquid. Now, water here gets heated. This hot water goes to cooling tower. In cooling tower, it gets cooled. Cooling tower is an equipment which cools water. And that cold water comes back into the condenser again, and it is recirculated again. This is how the whole system works. This is how the whole system works. You can see the system here. And this is important in interior service system because that produces the refrigerant effect. Using water passing through the evaporator, we cool the water. In case of big air conditioning plant, this chilled water is passed through the system of the building where air conditioning is done. It will be too much if I try to make you understand everything in the same class. First you understand vapor compression cycle as I have explained it. Students who are from science will find it easier to understand. who are not from science will also find it easy to understand, because there is no rocket science in that. It is a simple heating and cooling phenomenon. I think it is very clear to you. And as a result of that, the whole cycle is completed here. And now you understand, I am cooling in the evaporator. In case of deep freezer, I am cooling the freezer air inside. Instead of that, if I pass water to the evaporator, the water will get cooled. This water I pass to air conditioning system, chilled water. And then there we use different equipment called air handling unit, where we pass air above the chilled water and the air gets cooled. This cold air is circulated in the central air conditioning system in the building, and you get the chilling effect. This is how I am defining the whole vapor compression system. I think it is clear. Any problem, any question, we can always discuss at the end of the class. Thank you, students, for attending this part of the session, where I have explained you vapor compression refrigeration cycle, which is the basic part of refrigeration in your house, in refrigerator, also as well as in the air conditioner.